Have you ever wondered why the strongest people you know aren't the ones who had it easy, but the ones who walked through storms, faced failures, and still kept going? Strength isn't inherited, it's forged in the fire of struggle. And today, I want to show you why every hardship you face is shaping you into someone unstoppable. Hard times are often misunderstood. Most people see them as curses, moments to be feared, avoided, or complained about. But in truth, they are the silent architects of our strength. Every challenge, every setback, and every trial carries within it the seed of opportunity. It may not be visible when you are in the middle of the storm, but once you push through, you begin to realize that the very difficulty you fought against was the reason you grew stronger. Life never gives growth wrapped in comfort. It delivers it wrapped in struggle. When everything is going smoothly, when life feels easy, we often slip into complacency. We stop questioning ourselves. We stop stretching our abilities, and we stop pushing our limits. But the moment hard times arrive, comfort is stripped away, and you are forced to rise. You are challenged to use your creativity, your endurance, and your willpower in ways you never imagined. Suddenly, you are called to dig deeper, to find answers, to make choices you wouldn't have made if everything had been simple. These trials create a pressure that shapes you into someone more capable, more resilient, and more determined. Without that pressure, greatness cannot be born. Think of how steel is made strong. It is exposed to fire, hammered, and cooled repeatedly until it becomes unbreakable. The process is harsh, but it is necessary. In the same way, your character is forged in the fire of hard times. The difficulties refine you, removing weakness and building strength you didn't know you had. What feels like a burden is often the very force molding you into the person who can carry greater responsibilities and achieve greater goals. Every person who has achieved greatness has a story of hardship behind their success. They did not succeed because life was kind to them. They succeeded because life tested them, and they chose not to quit. Hard times demand growth. They force you to ask questions, to reevaluate your priorities, to discover your true potential. They are opportunities that disguise themselves as obstacles, doors that only open if you push hard enough. Imagine for a moment a seed planted deep in the soil. To reach the light, it must push through dirt, rocks, and darkness. That struggle gives it the strength to stand tall when it finally breaks through to the surface. If there were no resistance, the seed would remain buried, never becoming the tree it was meant to be. In the same way, the resistance of hard times is not your enemy, it is your training ground. It is the soil from which your strength grows, the darkness that prepares you to shine when your moment comes. There is a part of you that you have never met. It lies dormant, hidden beneath layers of comfort, waiting for a moment of necessity to awaken. That part is your untapped strength, your deeper power, your inner resource that only reveals itself when life presses you into corners you never thought you could escape. It is easy to underestimate yourself when everything is simple, but the truth is that hardship is the key that unlocks abilities you never realized you had. When things are easy, you rely on habit. You move through life without stretching yourself, without calling on your deeper reserves of courage, creativity, or resilience. But when difficulty strikes, you are suddenly forced to search for answers beyond your usual reach. Problems demand solutions, and in searching for those solutions, you uncover hidden talents, ideas, and levels of endurance that were asleep inside you all along. Struggle does not create strength out of thin air. It reveals the strength that was buried within you. Think of a person learning to swim. As long as their feet can touch the ground, they never truly test themselves. They only realize the depth of their ability when they are pushed into deeper water, when standing is no longer an option. The panic forces them to move their arms, to kick their legs, to learn what survival requires. At that moment, a new strength is discovered. Life works the same way. Until you are thrown into situations where survival progress, or success demands more of you than you thought possible, you will never meet the version of yourself capable of achieving it. This hidden strength often surprises people. In the face of tragedy, someone who once felt weak becomes the pillar holding their family together. In moments of crisis, individuals who never considered themselves leaders rise to guide others through uncertainty. In times of financial hardship, creativity flourishes as new ways of survival and growth are discovered. None of these transformations come when life is smooth. They come when pressure awakens the spirit. Hardship has a unique way of silencing doubt. In normal times, people spend too much energy guessing themselves, wondering if they are capable, talented, or worthy. But when circumstances demand immediate action, hesitation disappears. You act, and in acting, you discover that you are far more capable than you imagined. That first breakthrough becomes proof. Proof that you are stronger, smarter, and more resilient than you believed yesterday. This proof builds confidence, and confidence becomes the foundation for future growth. Consider the story of inventors and pioneers who faced repeated failure. Each obstacle forced them to dig deeper, to test new ideas, to think in ways they had never considered. Without the pressure of difficulty, their genius would have remained hidden. The hidden strength is not always physical. Often, it is mental, emotional, or spiritual. It is the endurance to keep going after 100 failures, the creativity to see a solution when others only see a problem, the faith to believe when no evidence yet exists. What many call impossible is often simply undiscovered strength. Think of someone who has never run a mile suddenly running 10 when their life depends on it, or a person lifting weight they never trained for in a moment of rescue. These are not miracles, they are revelations of potential. They show that the boundaries we place on ourselves are not real limits but comfort zones. Hard times push us beyond those comfort zones, and once pushed, we realize the cage was only in the mind. The beauty of discovering hidden strength is that it does not disappear when the hardship ends. Once awakened, it becomes part of who you are. The person who once thought they could not endure is now unshakable. The one who thought they could not lead has become a guide for others. The individual who believed they lacked creativity now sees opportunities everywhere. Hard times may feel like they are breaking you, but in reality, they are introducing you to yourself. It is in moments of crisis that you begin to realize your true identity. You are not weak, helpless, or ordinary. You are strong, resourceful, and extraordinary beyond measure. But you will never know this truth until life demands that you prove it. That is why hardship is necessary. It forces you to dig deep, to rise, to push beyond imagined limits. And in doing so, you meet the version of yourself that was always waiting in the shadows, ready to shine when the moment required it. Failures and setbacks are often seen as the end of the road, but in truth they are only detours on the journey to success. Every person who has achieved greatness has a history filled with disappointments, mistakes, and times when nothing seemed to work. What sets them apart is not the absence of failure, but the decision to keep moving forward despite it. Each failure carries a lesson, each setback provides direction, and together they form the stepping stones that lead to lasting achievement. When you stumble, it forces you to stop and examine what went wrong. Without that moment of reflection, growth would be impossible. Success often blinds people into thinking they know enough, but failure humbles and educates. It reveals weaknesses, exposes poor strategies, and demands adaptation. These lessons are invaluable because they prepare you for the greater challenges that lie ahead. Without failure, the foundation of success would be shallow, easily shaken by the first true test. With failure, your base becomes solid, built from experience and wisdom that no book or teacher could fully provide. Failure also sharpens resilience. Every time you rise after falling, you build inner strength. You prove to yourself that defeat is not permanent unless you accept it. This resilience becomes your armor, protecting you against future disappointments and giving you the courage to take risks again. People who have never faced setbacks often crumble at the first sign of difficulty, but those who have embraced failure as part of the process develop unshakable determination. They understand that each fall is temporary, and each rise makes them stronger. History is filled with stories of people who turned failures into the foundation of their greatness. Think of inventors who tested hundreds of times before creating breakthroughs, or entrepreneurs who lost everything before building empires. Their setbacks did not destroy them, they redirected them. What seemed like endings were actually beginnings in disguise. These individuals learned that the only true failure is quitting. As long as they kept moving, each misstep became another stone on the path to success. Setbacks also cultivate patience. In a world where people desire instant results, failure teaches the importance of persistence. It reminds you that meaningful success takes time, effort, and repeated attempts. Every setback asks, "How badly do you want it?" Those who answer with continued effort prove their commitment. And it is that level of persistence that ultimately leads to victory. Instead of fearing failure, embrace it as a teacher. Each time you fall short, you are being shown the way forward, being trained for a future that demands strength, wisdom, and resilience. Success without struggle is fragile, but success built on failures is unbreakable. Every setback is not the end of your journey, but a step forward, pushing you closer to the person you are meant to become and the goals you are destined to achieve. Strength is not built in moments of comfort or ease. It is born in the face of pain, in the very moments when life feels unbearable, when your heart is heavy, and when giving up feels like the only option. True strength is not the absence of suffering, but the ability to walk through it, endure it, and rise because of it. If you avoid pain, you avoid growth. If you run from hardship, you run from the very experiences that make you powerful. Pain has a purpose. It stretches you beyond your limits and forces you to grow. When you endure loss, disappointment, or failure, you are pushed to confront realities that comfort hides from you. These moments reveal who you are and what you are capable of becoming. Facing pain teaches you patience because healing takes time. It teaches you courage because it demands you stand firm in the storm. It teaches you wisdom because every wound carries a lesson that reshapes how you live, think, and act. Without pain, there would be no reason to fight, no reason to dig deeper, no reason to discover the strength that lies hidden within. Think of the body when it builds physical strength. Muscles do not grow from rest alone, they grow from strain, from being broken down and rebuilt stronger than before. The pain of exercise is necessary for growth. In the same way, emotional and spiritual strength is developed through the struggles of life. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every failure breaks you down a little. But when you choose to keep going, you rebuild yourself stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever. Pain also develops empathy. A person who has never struggled cannot truly understand the struggles of others. But someone who has endured hardship carries compassion in their heart. They know what it feels like to hurt, and that makes them kinder, gentler, and more willing to help others rise. Strength is not only about enduring pain for yourself. It is about using the lessons from your own suffering to uplift others who are going through their own. There is a unique power that comes from surviving what you once thought would break you. The moment you look back and realize you endured pain that once seemed impossible, you begin to understand that nothing can truly defeat you unless you allow it. That realization becomes unshakable strength. It changes how you face new challenges, not with fear, but with the quiet confidence that you have overcome before, and you will overcome again. To face pain is to face transformation. It strips away illusions and reveals truth. It removes weakness and builds resilience. It takes the fragile and makes it unbreakable. That is why strength cannot come from avoiding pain. It is carved in the very moments you endure, in the nights you cry but still rise in the morning, in the struggles that feel endless but eventually shape you into the person you were always meant to be. Falling is inevitable in life. No matter how careful, skilled, or determined you are, there will be moments when you stumble, when the weight of failure knocks you down, or when circumstances push you to the ground. What separates the strong from the weak is not that one group avoids falling, but that the strong rise each time with greater determination. Rising after every fall is what shapes resilience. It is the process of refusing to stay down that transforms ordinary people into unstoppable ones. Each fall carries a lesson. The ground teaches you what the air could not. When you fail, when you are rejected, or when a plan collapses, you are given an opportunity to reflect, to examine what went wrong, and to come back wiser. If you never fell, you would never learn. The act of rising is more than recovery, it is renewal. Each time you stand back up, you do so with a little more knowledge, a little more courage, and a little more strength than before. Over time, those small increases accumulate into resilience that nothing can shake. Rising after a fall also proves something vital to yourself, that you are not defined by the setback. Too often, people confuse failure with identity. They believe that because they failed once, they are failures. But every rise breaks that illusion. Every time you get back up, you prove to yourself that falling is only an event, not a definition. You become stronger not only in skill, but in self-belief. That confidence becomes the foundation for persistence. And persistence is the heartbeat of all success. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall countless times before they ever take steady steps. But the falling is necessary. It trains balance, it builds muscle, and it teaches coordination. Without falling, they would never learn to stand tall. Adults are no different. Each fall is part of the process. The key is refusing to let the fall convince you that you cannot move forward. If a child accepted failure after the first fall, none of us would ever walk today. Rising also builds character. It is easy to smile when things are smooth, but it is rising from the ground with scraped knees, weary eyes, and a tired heart that defines true courage. The world respects those who endure, who keep going when quitting is easier. Every rise is a statement that says, "I am not done yet." That persistence inspires not only yourself but those around you, proving that no fall is final unless you refuse to rise again. With every rise, the fear of falling loses its power. You begin to understand that setbacks are temporary, that failure is not the end but the beginning of a new attempt. This realization frees you to take risks, to dream bigger, to chase goals without being paralyzed by the thought of falling. Because you know the truth, even if you fall, you will rise again, and each rise will make you stronger than before. Challenges have a way of stripping life down to its core. When everything is smooth and easy, distractions multiply. You may find yourself chasing things that look appealing but have little meaning, wasting time on trivial pursuits, or placing value on appearances rather than substance. But the moment a true challenge arrives, all of those illusions begin to fall away. Hard times force clarity. They expose what truly matters and remove what does not. In the heat of difficulty, priorities are sharpened, and life suddenly reveals its deeper truths. When you face a challenge, the superficial loses its importance. Status, possessions, and fleeting pleasures fade in value when compared to health, family, purpose, or peace of mind. A person in the middle of a storm does not care about minor inconveniences. They care about survival, resilience, and meaning. This is the gift of hardship. It pushes aside the noise and reminds you of what is worth fighting for. Without challenges, many people drift aimlessly, investing their energy into pursuits that do not satisfy. With challenges, attention shifts to the things that truly bring strength and fulfillment. Difficulties also test the authenticity of relationships. When life is easy, many people surround you, offering support, praise, or companionship. But when challenges strike, only those who truly care remain by your side. Hard times reveal who is genuine and who is only present when things benefit them. Though painful, this clarity is priceless. It helps you see who deserves your trust, loyalty, and love, and who was never truly committed in the first place. In this way, challenges protect you from illusions and help you build your circle on a foundation of truth. On a personal level, challenges also force you to confront yourself. In easy times, it is simple to ignore weaknesses, procrastinate on growth, or distract yourself from deeper questions about purpose. But when hardship arrives, you can no longer run from reality. You are forced to evaluate who you are, what you believe in, and what you truly want from life. This confrontation is uncomfortable but necessary. It awakens self-awareness and pushes you toward authenticity. You discover strengths you never valued and weaknesses you must overcome. Challenges further highlight the importance of gratitude. When things are taken away, when comfort is lost, or when familiar paths are blocked, you begin to see the value of what you once overlooked. The simple blessings, health, a supportive friend, a chance to try again, become treasures. Gratitude grows in hardship because the essentials shine brighter when everything else fades. That gratitude in turn makes you stronger and more resilient, fueling your ability to endure. In the end, challenges act as a mirror. They reflect back to you the essence of your life, cutting through distractions and revealing the truth. They show you who you can trust, what is worth your energy, and where your focus must remain. By forcing clarity, challenges become not just obstacles to overcome, but guides leading you back to what is real, valuable, and enduring. Persistence and faith are the twin forces that transform hardship into victory. When life becomes difficult, most people give in to despair, assuming the struggle is a sign that success is out of reach. But struggle is not a signal to stop. It is a test to see how badly you want what you are chasing. Persistence means choosing to keep moving forward, step after step, even when progress feels invisible. Faith means believing that those steps will eventually lead you to the outcome you desire, even when there is no immediate evidence. Together they form the power that turns obstacles into stepping stones. Persistence is not glamorous. It is not about big moments of triumph, but about the small daily decision to try again. It is the writer returning to the blank page after rejection, the athlete training after defeat, the entrepreneur rebuilding after failure. Most people quit too soon because they expect instant results. But greatness rarely comes quickly. It is built brick by brick through effort that feels unseen at the time but compounds into success over the long run. Persistence ensures that you are still standing when others have given up, and often that simple fact becomes the reason you succeed. Faith is equally vital because persistence without belief becomes mechanical and empty. Faith gives you the vision to keep going when the outcome is not visible. It whispers to you in the silence that your efforts are not in vain. It fuels your spirit in the darkest hours, reminding you that no storm lasts forever, and that every trial is preparing you for what you asked for. Faith does not eliminate doubt completely, but it gives you the courage to act despite it. It keeps your eyes on the destination even when the path is full of obstacles. Every victory in history has been born from these two forces. The innovators who changed the world faced endless ridicule before their ideas were accepted. The leaders who inspired nations endured years of struggle before they saw change. Their persistence refused to let them stop, and their faith gave them strength to endure. Without persistence, they would have abandoned their goals at the first sign of difficulty. Without faith, they would have lost heart long before success arrived. But with both, they turned hardship into triumph. Persistence and faith also transform the way you see failure. Instead of treating it as proof that you are incapable, you begin to see it as a step in the process. Faith assures you that failure is temporary, and persistence ensures you keep moving forward. This combination removes the power of setbacks and turns them into lessons that guide you closer to your goal. Hardship will always test you. It will ask whether you have the will to keep going and the belief to keep hoping. If you answer with persistence and faith, no difficulty can hold you forever. In time, the effort compounds, the struggle transforms, and the victory becomes inevitable. Hard times are not just struggles to endure, they are tests of purpose and belief. When life is comfortable, it is easy to claim that you have big dreams, strong values, and unshakable confidence. But comfort never truly measures commitment. The real test comes when everything seems to go against you, when the path is unclear, and when you question whether your goals are even possible. That is when your purpose and belief are put on trial. If they are shallow, they will crumble. If they are genuine, they will carry you through. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady when storms rage around you. Without a clear reason for why you are moving forward, challenges will easily convince you to give up. When setbacks appear, they ask a simple question: is this goal worth the pain? Only those with a strong purpose can answer yes. People who lack direction often abandon their efforts the moment difficulties arrive, because they never had a clear reason to endure. But those who know exactly why they are pursuing a dream will find strength even in exhaustion. They understand that the pain of the struggle is temporary, but the meaning behind it is eternal. Belief works hand in hand with purpose. It is belief that fuels the courage to act even when you cannot see results. Challenges often create moments of silence where progress feels invisible. It is in those moments that belief is tested most. Do you still trust yourself, your vision, and the process when nothing seems to work? Belief is not proven when everything is going right. It is proven when nothing seems to be going right, yet you refuse to quit. It is that inner conviction that whispers, keep going. The breakthrough is near. History shows that those who accomplish the extraordinary are those who hold firm to both purpose and belief through hardship. They do not let criticism shake them. They do not allow failure to define them. They see setbacks as part of the journey, not the end of it. Their purpose tells them why they must continue, and their belief tells them that their efforts will one day be rewarded. Without these two, the weight of difficulty would crush them. With them, even the heaviest burdens become manageable. Hard times strip away excuses. They expose whether your dream is a wish or a mission. If it is only a wish, challenges will destroy it. But if it is a mission grounded in deep purpose and sustained by belief, then no hardship can erase it. The struggle may bend you, but it cannot break you. Every obstacle becomes proof that your purpose is real and your belief unshakable. Would you like me to now expand key point 10s about strength being forged through struggle, not inherited, into 500 words in the same style? Strength is never something handed down like an inheritance. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or gifted. Real strength is forged through struggle, through the moments when life pushes you to your limits and you discover that quitting is not an option. Every scar, every hardship, and every setback becomes part of the process that molds you into someone stronger than you were before. Strength is not a natural gift. It is the result of battles fought and endured. People often admire those who seem unshakable, imagining that they were born with extraordinary resilience. But what they see is only the outcome of countless unseen struggles. The calm leader who inspires others has likely faced moments of chaos. The successful entrepreneur who appears fearless has endured years of rejection and failure. The resilient individual who carries themselves with confidence has likely carried heavy burdens in silence. What makes them strong is not an easy life, but a difficult one that demanded growth. Struggle forces you to develop qualities you would never choose voluntarily. No one seeks out pain, disappointment, or failure, but those very experiences teach lessons comfort never could. Patience is learned when waiting feels unbearable. Courage is born when fear seems overwhelming. Discipline is developed when quitting looks easier than continuing. Each challenge becomes a forge, burning away weakness and shaping you into a stronger version of yourself. Without those challenges, strength would remain undeveloped, hidden beneath the surface. Consider the process of tempering steel. It is exposed to intense heat, hammered into shape, and cooled repeatedly until it becomes unbreakable. Without this process, steel remains fragile. Human strength follows the same principle. The trials of life are the heat and hammer. The setbacks and obstacles are the shaping forces. Every painful experience you endure is part of the tempering process, ensuring that when the time comes, you can withstand pressure without breaking. What makes this truth powerful is that it places strength within the reach of anyone. You do not need to be born into privilege or advantage to become strong. Struggle is universal, and so is the opportunity to grow from it. Some of the strongest people in the world are not those who started with wealth or comfort, but those who endured adversity and used it as their training ground. Strength is the reward of endurance, not inheritance. Every time you face hardship and choose to keep going, you are forging yourself into someone more capable than before. Every trial survived adds another layer to your resilience. Over time, those layers become an armor no one can take from you. That is why true strength is not visible at the beginning of a journey, but at the end, when you can look back and realize that everything that tried to break you actually built you. Strength is not something we are born with. It is something life builds within us through trials, setbacks, and struggles. Every hardship you face is not breaking you, it is shaping you. So when challenges come, don't run from them. Embrace them. for they are the very force creating the strong person you are destined to become.